So Farisha, can we start?
Yes, Kanika, we can start.
All right. Yeah. Sushil, please.
Yeah, great. So I think, sorry, I missed it yesterday, and I was told that you had wonderful interaction. Uh, uh, my name is Sushil, and I'm founder of EnPower, the organization which is supporting this entire event in terms of uh, the knowledge and how we can take it ahead. I'm not going to stand long between you and Lisha, and I'm going to let Lisha continue the learning part. But why I'm so excited about this entire initiative when it was conceived and it was said that it should be done is primarily because every person, every individual has an ability to think like an entrepreneur, behave like an entrepreneur. And I strongly believe, though I'm from a different gender, but I strongly believe that a woman has more power to think like an entrepreneur than men. And unfortunately, because various circumstances, the opportunities are deprived and all. But whenever they get an opportunity, they outperform and outshine this. So entrepreneurship cannot be taught or cannot be you know spoken and nurtured in just 2 sessions of 90 minutes, and we are completely aware of that. And the idea is not to teach you entrepreneurship in this session. The idea is not to make you learn the techniques and all. This 2 sessions, the way we have designed, is just to make you aware that you also can think, make you build that confidence in your mind that yes, I can do this, and make you realize a true potential of your own thinking power, that if you think, then you can actually change the world and make impact in the society. So whether you win at the end of the day, whether we see you at a Bombay Stock Exchange on 1st of September for showing those ideas, that's immaterial. Each one of you just go through this process and try and build something. You yourself will realize the potential that you have, and that at some point of time, whether today or next 15 days or next 2 months or 1 year or 10 years, wherever, if that really helps you to ignite that spirit in the mind that I can do this, and I know exactly how it needs to be done, and I have that power, then that would be a true uh, what do you call, the benefit of this entire engagement that we are having. Please feel free. I'm going to be there in and around this session. I personally love to talk and take this session, but this time Lisha and all team has pushed me out of the room and said that this is all girls' room and men are not invited into this. So I'm going to sit in the corner by putting my camera switched off. But at any point of time, I'm sure Lisha would need my help, and I'll give me a shout out, and I'll be there. So with that, all the best. Take the advantage of what has been spoken. This is again, as I said, is no way teaching and all, because I genuinely believe that no one can teach anyone, but at least we can make you think. And even if you do a 1% job, I think that's extremely important for us. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Lisha, and I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to sit in the corner as a student and go to watch this. Thank you very much, and have a great time.
Thank you so much, Sushil. It's so nice to have you. Definitely, I'll give you a shout out anywhere in between the session, and please feel free to, butt in and share whatever you'd like.
Sure.
So, girls, I hope you're excited. Today's session is going to be very practical. Okay, we're going to keep it very practical. We're going to keep it very simple. Yesterday, we spoke about why should we have an idea. Today, we are going to answer all the other questions. Kanika, could you please share your screen? Any questions or doubts that you had yesterday while Kanika is sharing her screen with us, please feel free to ask. Was there anything that was confusing that was covered yesterday?
There's no confusion.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so 3 things that always stand in the way in the process of our, coming up with an idea, we said was reluctance, self-doubt, and fear of failure. And we all saw that all these things are actually irrelevant because we all have the capacity to come up with an idea. Entrepreneurial skills are inside all of us, and all of us have the ability to come up with an idea. So today, without any delay, we're going to dive into understanding how should I build an idea? How is it possible for me to even think about a problem, come up with an idea? How can I do that? Okay. To begin with this, let's start with something very exciting. Okay. I'm going to ask you to help me solve a mystery. All of you have watched Crime Patrol, all of you have watched thrillers, I'm sure. You may have read Sherlock Holmes. How many of you love thrillers? How many of you watch Crime Patrol and love solving mysteries? Yes?
Every
Awesome, awesome. Priyadarshini does. Okay. I'm sure most of us do. You know, we're always on edge. We love watching even sometimes horror related movies because of that adrenaline rush, and mysteries do that to us. So today I'm going to start off with 2 breakthrough approaches, okay, in just your journey of coming up with an idea. But to do that, we're going to do it in a manner that's very creative by solving a mystery first. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information. After that, you're going to help me. So it was a Sunday afternoon. It was stormy and breezy, and Leila and Majnu were found dead on the 22nd floor of a high-rise building. There are only 3 things that we know. Okay, the window was open, there were pieces of glass fallen, and there was some water on the floor. Now you need to help me solve this mystery and tell me, how did they die? Clear? All the information so far is clear? Yes? Okay. Now you've got to ask me questions to help me solve this mystery. Only close-ended questions to which I will either answer yes or no. Okay, don't ask me open-ended questions of anything, just close-ended questions. All clear? Yes? Yes, no?
yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so come on, think about it. Start asking me questions because you have to help me solve this mystery. Think. And we can't do this in silence because that's not how mysteries are solved. So you'll have to interact with me. There's someone who has my name twice. It's Lisha. You can please go ahead and ask me questions. I can't solve this mystery on my own. I really need you. How did they die?
Well, broken glasses were on the floor, all scattered around.
It was on the floor. You have to ask me close-ended questions, okay? Yes or no type. So for example, were there pieces on the floor? I'll say yes.
Yeah, that is what I was trying to ask.
Yes, yeah. Was the door open? No.
Was the window? It was window broken. The broken glass was of window or not?
No. Okay, good. I'm glad you're at least asking questions. Come on, the rest of you. Yeah, someone's posted something in the chat box. Was there blood on the floor? Not really.
Any marks on their body?
No.
That's actually a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, at least that tells us you're thinking, which is amazing. So keep doing that. What about the rest? Pallavi, Akansha. I think Pallavi answered. Aditi,
So,
Adrija.
Priyadarshini has a couple of questions. She says, was the door open? So can you answer that, Lisha? Was the door open?
Yeah, I said no. Yeah, I answered.
All right. Right. And there
Awesome.
was there blood on the floor?
No, yeah, we answered that. No, not really.
So we are okay with these answers, right? Any other questions?
Were the bodies were together or they were really apart?
Yes or no type questions.
So that is what I'm trying to ask you. the bodies were both the bodies were together or not? Yes or no? That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Good, good. I thought you like all this mystery and all, huh? Was the body badly bruised? No.
any bottles,
good.
any poison bottles or anything?
No. Good. I like these questions. Lots of crime patrol. These girls are watching. That's amazing.
Priyadarshini
they-
says, were there footmarks on the floor or any weapon rope in the room? Wow, that's a nice question.
That's a very good question. No. Are you sure you all want to be entrepreneurs or criminologists? These amazing forensic type questions are being asked.
Were there any? She asked. I'm so sorry. She asked only the same question.
Okay.
What about
Think. Yes. What else? Think. Now you know you have so much of information, right? You have so many yeses and nos to whatever you all have asked. So think about other things. Question.
is it a suicide?
Was it a suicide attempt? Is that what you said?
Yes.
No.
Or they are going to die then?
Sorry.
Nothing.
Seems tough, but think. And this is a lovely exercise because it's actually going to help you in your journey of ideation also. What else?
Any
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Were they really dead or shooting for crime patrol? Nice.
Good. At
Nisha?
least you're thinking. No, they were really dead.
Yeah.
They were really dead. I wish they were shooting for crime patrol, but they were really dead. Question, think. How did they die?
were the police arrives or not?
No.
No.
So
So
Adrija,
Aditi asks, did the person accidentally fell?
sorry, what was that question? Did the person accidentally did the person accidentally fall? You're half there, but the answer is no.
Adrija says, what were they doing before they die?
So that's an open-ended question. Sadly, I can't answer that. You'll have to ask me more specific questions. But good.
I think the participants are almost there, Lisha.
Yeah, they're almost there, and that's great. Were they struck by lightning?
Pradarshini, were they struck by lightning and it was raining heavily?
And it was
Wow.
raining heavily. No. Come on, we'll take one more question and then I will help you out a little. Come on, think.
Any sharp object was there or not in their surrounding?
There were pieces of glass fallen on the floor.
They might fall because they might have died because of the glass only. Accidentally, they would have slip on that or
No. Did someone push them? No. Should I give it
I
away,
think with
Kanika?
that, yeah, I think with that,
I
we
think I
can just
should
give
help them out.
Yes, please.
So, I never said Leela and Majnu were people.
okay.
Right. Now any guesses? So Leela and Majnu, okay, were two little fish in a fish bowl that was kept on a table. And it was a windy, stormy Sunday afternoon. And because it was windy and stormy, the window was flung open. The wind toppled the fish bowl. Okay. The fish bowl fell off. There were pieces of glass. Water was on the floor. And as a result, the poor two fish died that Sunday afternoon. Okay. Laila and Majnu were not lovers. They were not people, but they were two fish that fell and died. Okay. All of you did great at asking me questions, but do you see how we just assume a lot of things? We just go with the flow and assume a lot of things because of previous maybe information that we have, or because we know that Leila and Majnu are names given to human beings, right? But through this exercise, a point that I'm trying to drive is that we need to learn to challenge what seems obvious to us. Because who says we can't name our fish Leila and Majnu and whatever we want to, right? It all depends on the way that we're looking at it, the kind of questions we're asking, and whether we're really challenging what we already know. And that's the first breakthrough approach that I want to share with you, which is challenge the obvious. Okay, that's the next slide that you're going to see. Okay, we need to learn to challenge the obvious, even if we have to come up with an idea. Tomorrow in your own journey, when you're looking at identifying a problem and coming up with an idea, you need to stop going with the flow of the patterns that exist around you and stop to challenge what is happening. How can I improve this? How can I look at this differently? Okay, so challenging the obvious is one very important skill that you definitely need to imbibe. Next slide. Another important skill is also finding the common in the uncommon. Before we get there, I'm going to take you through certain examples. Okay, we are going to look at certain pictures of things that we have already seen in our house, like this switchboard. How many of you have seen this switchboard? Right, we all have it in our bedrooms. How many of you struggle every day to if you go to maybe a relative's house and it's a new home, how many of you struggle with knowing which is the light switch and which is the fan switch? A quick yes and no. Do you struggle to, you have to put multiple switches on and off? Yes, Anushka says me. Yeah, me too. I have to struggle to find out and figure out which is the one, right? Now, this is a problem we're facing for years, correct? But no one's really stopped to question over these years that can we do something about this? How can we simplify this problem? Maybe in the responses that we've got in the past, some have said, oh, let's maybe title them. Let's put like an L for light, an F for a fan. But what if somebody is blind or somebody who cannot read, right? How is the problem solved for them? It still continues to be a problem. So problems like this exist around us, and solutions are not found because nobody's challenging the obvious. I'm going to show you a few more pictures. You're going to see another picture of a mixer, right? The mixer makes a loud sound. It disturbs all of us, especially when we're studying for an exam, and our kitchen, unfortunately, is always close to our bedrooms. And our mom's always grinding some masala, because we all have Indian moms and they love doing that. So the loud noise of the mixie is always very irritating, right? Has anyone really thought of, let's come up with a solution for this? Can we challenge what's happening and rectify this problem, right? This is another thing we see. We also see we're going to see another picture of kids' shoes. Okay, this, kids outgrow these pairs of shoes very quickly. Has anyone thought of maybe designing something a little different for a child's foot that keeps growing? Can we have something more elastic, something that accommodates the this fast-paced growth of kids' feet? This is another thing. Another picture which we all identify with is ice cream, and we always go out with our friends and to have ice cream, and our conversations are unending, but the ice cream keeps melting, right? And we have to somehow lick the cone or finish that ice cream off quickly just to ensure that it doesn't melt. How many of you experience this?
Everyone, I think.
All of us, right? And so we can't even enjoy the ice cream, neither can we enjoy the conversation, because all of us are so eager to finish that ice cream which is melting, and it's almost stressful, right? Just like the pani puri, because the pani puri is going to fall, and we have the bhaiya ready with his other puri. So these are few examples that we're trying to share with you of how there are patterns around us, but problems exist. There are inconveniences that already exist, you know, and what can we do about them? And is anybody really challenging these problems to come up with solutions? So one very important thing is develop a mindset where you challenge the obvious. These are things around us. I'm sure we can all pay attention to them and look at how can we improve this problem in some way. Another method, okay, that will help you in coming up with your solution or your idea is something called common and uncommon. How many of you, while using your pencils, have realized that it really hurts your finger? You know, especially if you have to write maybe a long essay in school when we were writing and we've got to write it fast before the teacher rubs the board. How many of you have struggled with, you know, the issue that exactly? I think Anushka identifies with me the best. She says me, Priyadarshini as well. Okay. Yes, it really hurts our finger, right? Can you tell me, if I have to draw inspiration from this shoe right now, how can I solve this problem? The pencil is a problem, right? When I write it for long periods of time, it hurts my finger. Let me look at another product, which is a shoe. How can I draw inspiration from a shoe to improve my experience of writing?
The cushiony part, the shoes are always really cushioned so that it won't hurt our knee or in. So I think
absolutely,
if pencil have some cushions, then it won't hurt.
Absolutely. Can we have the image, Kanika? You're absolutely right, right? These are two completely unrelated things. A shoe and a pencil are unrelated. But to improve our experience of writing, can we innovate that pencil? Definitely, if we draw inspiration from another object. So the second approach is something called common and uncommon, or connecting the dots. Okay, you don't have to stick to what you're doing. Look around you. Look at other brands, look at other products, look at other services, look at what they're offering, look at how they're succeeding. Is there some strategy or feature of that product, that brand that you can adopt in your product, in your service, and in what you want to offer? Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, are you with me so far? Okay, Anushka's with me. I don't know, Pallavi's with me. Okay, awesome. Okay. Now that we have seen, thanks Priyadarshini. I love that you're interacting. Okay, so I at least know I'm not talking to my screen. I know that I'm talking to human beings behind the screen. Okay. So we have covered why should we do this, because it's important to promote change. It's important to bring about changes in our society, and we all have the ability. How should we do this? Challenge the obvious and begin by connecting the dots, drawing inspiration from around us. Now let's look at what should we do. Okay, how should we go about solving this problem? How should we come up with an idea? Is idea the starting point? I know we grilled this in your head yesterday. So a quick answer, is idea the starting point?
Problem is the starting point.
Absolutely. Idea is not the starting point. Problem is the starting point. So let's look at something that I'm going to show you on the screen and understand this better. Okay. You see a picture on the screen, right? All of you?
Yes.
Do you see a problem?
Yes.
What's the problem?
The smaller guy is not able to see the game.
Okay. Anyone else sees any other problem?
So the equal distribution of boxes is not there. If the boxes with the smaller guy, he will be able to see.
Okay, so you're trying to, okay, so if I have to ask you, how will we solve this problem? Then Pallavi was speaking, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Pallavi, how will we solve this problem according to what you're saying?
So if that taller guy will give his box to the smaller guy, this problem will solve.
Okay, Kanika, can we have the next picture? Absolutely. That's what Pallavi just shared. This is one solution. Okay, the problem is solved. But is this the best option? Is this the best solution?
So there can be other options also. There can be some sitting options also with elevated seats for these shorter people.
Okay, but if they have even elevated seats, maybe for shorter people, okay, that's a good option. Okay, what else? Think. I want everyone to think. Come on, think. We all know that none of us are born with half a brain. Yesterday, that's established, right? So the creative part of our brain also has to be exercised now by thinking out of the box, like you all only said yesterday. So I am just testing you all out on your own thing. Okay. Okay, I love that ma'am Parisha is also interacting. She's saying reduce the the height of the wall. That's a lovely suggestion. Okay, girls, what else? So one important thing for you to even come to the right solution is identifying the problem correctly. Now, all of you are trying to work around the boy's height. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Most of you have given me solutions based on, oh, the that poor thing, he's so short, he can't see. But is height really the problem in the picture?
No, the problem is that panel which is coming in front of the game, as a barrier.
Absolutely right. The wall is the problem. The problem is not height. Height we cannot control. That is something that is genetically dependent, right? So height we can't control. So by
Right.
just shifting the box, that doesn't solve anything, because all of them are still standing. It's still inconvenient. They're still uncomfortable, and that match is going to still go on for an hour or more, right? So that's not a permanent solution. It may solve the problem for 5-10 minutes, but it's not ultimately solving the problem on the whole. And now, as we've rightly identified, the problem is the wall, correct? So can we have something see-through, right? Like the mesh that you can see, and then also have seats and all of that. That would be actually solving the problem. Now, what has brought us to the solution here is identifying the problem correctly. If we would only focus on height for the next 1 hour, we would have been stuck there only, because the height is not the problem. The problem was the wall that stood between them. And once we identify the problem correctly, that brings us to more accurate solutions and long-term solutions. Does that make sense?
Right.
So one very important point for you to take away from this is spend a lot of time in identifying what the problem really is. Don't just jump to wanting to solve that problem or the issue that you see, but spend time understanding what is the problem that we are actually solving, what is the real problem and the real issue at hand. Okay, and this is something that Albert Einstein also said, that if he had an hour, he would to solve a problem, he would spend 55 minutes only thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about the solution. Because when you spend a lot of time invested on focusing on the problem, understanding it, it will automatically lead you very quickly to the solution. Okay, can we have the next slide? Does that make sense? Is this helping you? Is this practical?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And this is a quick recap of the process of building an idea. Yeah, Kanika, you can let the other points load. Okay, in the solution and the idea is not the starting point. The problem is, what leads us to the solution is when we empathize with our user, spend time on the problem, understand what it is that the user is going through. Like in the picture, we understand that they can't be standing for so long. It's very tiring, it's very uncomfortable. So we're empathizing with them. We're saying, okay, what is the real problem? It's the wall. And what is bringing us to this insight? It is our empathy, when we're putting ourselves in those people's shoes and we're trying to understand the inconvenience. And it is these insights then which are bringing us to our idea or our solution. Okay. These are also a couple of examples here on the screen for you, okay, of how when people have focused on the problem and focused on understanding the needs of the user, how they have improvised on our product. Okay. So we have learned that it's not necessary in entrepreneurship for us to invent something, correct? We can just simply maybe innovate and make changes and transform what we already have. Okay, so here I'm just taking you through certain examples, okay, of how there were products that already existed, but how over time people have tried to improve the use of those products. And you can see on my screen that there's an MRI machine. Okay, even as adults, okay, we're looking at kids, of course, but even as adults, I'm not sure all of us look forward to, kind of get a scan done through an MRI machine. Anybody excited about MRI machines or loves MRI machines? Yes. If you had to go through one, is that something that you would like, or is that something that you would enjoy? No, right? Absolutely not. Imagine what kids experience. They definitely go through a lot of fear. They go through a lot of panic. Sometimes people, absolutely, Adrija, there may be suffocation because of phobia or, a claustrophobia. They may feel like it's an enclosed space. Anyway, they're battling their own thoughts of they don't know what illness they're suffering. There's a lot of fear. Plus, these machines are very noisy. Okay. So one thing that people did with kids was, since the child is the user in this case, they tried to have conversations with the children. And they tried to ask them, can you tell us what is it about this machine that scares you? And how would you like this machine to look like? And children began drawing lots of pictures. Okay. And on the next slide, you're going to see the product of what they said. So the experience of going through the machine was scary for the child, but using inspiration from what the children would love their MRI machine to look like, MRI scans for kids are now designed like this, like an adventure. So they don't feel like they're going through a machine. They feel like they're entering an adventurous, playful space. That maybe they're the pirate and they're going through like a little waterfall cave in the ocean, or that they're in the forest or jungle and they're entering a tunnel. Right? This experience is less scary, is less anxiety provoking. So the machine stays the same, the function is the same, but because the user is not satisfied, it has been improvised and innovated. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Yes, no? Okay. Next, we'll see a couple of other examples of innovations. Okay. One is the duster. These are pictures of how the duster has evolved over time. This is only to tell you that your product may already exist out there, but you can always make changes and innovate that product or service depending on the needs of the user. The duster, I'll just tell you very quickly. We know that, when you use the duster, teachers will identify there's a lot of chalk powder, there's not enough grip, right? So over time, we see how the design of the duster has also changed. To now we just have whiteboards where you can use markers, and the duster has slots for those markers so that the marker is not misplaced. So one product which always existed, but the demands and needs of the users changed, and so the product also has undergone some sort of transformation and innovation. Okay, are these examples helping? Yes, no? Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Yeah. So we all want to be creative, but our ability to think creatively is the second most important thing. The first most important thing is to identify which problem are we solving. Okay, identifying the problem correctly. Next. I want you to pay attention to this lovely picture. Now I've spoken to you so much about identifying the problem, what are problems. What do you see in this picture? Just tell me, what do you see in this picture?
Someone is hanging their clothes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There's somebody hanging their clothes.
In an open space. It's a
Okay.
place where everyone can go and come and go. It's an open space where this person is hanging their clothes.
Okay, awesome. What else?
And there are multiple hangers for one clothes, hanging multiple clothes.
Okay, okay. Anybody else sees anything different? Okay, Preeti says there's lack of space. Awesome. Thanks, Preeti. What else? I love when you all interact because that adds on to the experience of the session. So please do that. Yeah, what else is happening? It seems like a non-Indian market. Yes, they don't seem like they're Indians. We had some responses where they said they seem like they're from Thailand. Okay. Clothes are at too much of a height. Okay. The boy seems to be struggling. Okay. What else? Anything else?
I was actually thinking that they have put it to dry. I don't know. Is it a shopping market or what?
It depends on you, whatever. So, okay, it may seem like clothes are drying or it's a shopping market. Okay. The kid is basically taking clothes off. Okay. With a high stick. Okay. Some, if somebody asked me, I would say, oh, it looks like he's shooing away crows. You know, he's trying to maybe play a prank, trying to kind of throw someone's clothes off the string. Maybe it's his neighbor's clothes and he's trying to play tricks. Now, all this information that we got, has anybody asked that boy this? Have we interacted with him to ask him, what are you doing? What is the space that you're in? Yes?
If we could get a chance, we would do that.
Yes, we would do that. But in this session, we have done it based on 3 things, okay? Which is your knowledge, based on your own previous experiences that you've had, and based on your perceptions. Can we have those points up? Okay, yeah. Based on past experience, we've seen this happening, right? We've seen our moms dry clothes like that. So from our experience, from our perception of what it looks like to us, and knowledge, okay? These 3 things are great. But when we're trying to identify a problem, only relying on knowledge, experience, and perception is incomplete. We need to also interact with our user to understand and empathize what is the problem that they're facing and how can we improve this experience. Okay, let's move on ahead. So knowledge, experience, perception is great, but to rely only on our perception, our experience, and our knowledge is not enough. We need to involve the user, whoever that user may be, for our specific product. And from this, now with this, you know, background of this knowledge of identifying a problem correctly, let's move on to understanding how to come up with a problem statement. Okay, there are some statements on the screen. There are certain sentences or statements on the screen. There is no clean water to drink. People lack discipline and put garbage on the street. There's a lot of illiteracy among women in rural India, and 2 more. Are these problem statements according to you? Like a quick yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else says anything? But don't you think these are incomplete because they are only sentences, they are only issues. There is no clarity in terms.
Your voice is new.
Yeah, there's no clarity about why is there no clean water to drink. So how can this be a problem statement? Because we, exactly, like Priyadarshini is saying, it sounds more like issues or queries or complaints, but they are not problem statements. Okay, let's look at how to come up with a problem statement. Because if I just tell you there's no clean water to drink, I don't, that's not helping me in any way. I don't know who does not have the clean water. Where is this issue being faced? I don't know anything, correct? So one very important tool or technique to identify a problem or to come up with a problem statement is asking 5 whys. Okay, as girls, we love to ask why, especially if a guy challenges us, we love asking why, right? So when a complaint or an issue arises, we have to do the same thing. We've got to ask 5 whys. Because when we ask these 5 whys, it will get us to the root cause of the problem. I'll give you an example. We'll do it together so that you will understand practically how this works. Okay. Let's look at the same sentences again. Yakanika, next slide. And you're going to help me with this. We're going to ask 5 whys we'll take we'll take any 2 of them. Okay. We'll ask 5 whys and we'll see how we get to the root of the problem. So let's take, there is no clean water to drink. So I'm asking the first why. Why? Can you answer it for me? There's no clean water to drink. I'm asking the question, why is there no clean water to drink? Give me answers.
Because of pollution.
Okay, because of pollution. Why?
Because industries pollute water.
Okay, why? Why do industries pollute water?
because industrialization, after industrialization, it has started, and manufacturing has increased with a boosting rate. So after that, they need water and they would still do it. So just industrialization is the reason.
Because they don't have a specific place to
Okay.
become to you to dispose their waste. So they run up
Okay.
in the land, water, and any river.
Okay. So if we ask why again, okay, you might get a more specific solution, but we'll stop here for the sake of the example. So what started with there's no clean water to drink. Okay. When we have asked multiple whys or 5 whys, we have come to a very different root cause of the problem, which is not water scarcity, right? But it is because water is polluted. And the reason water is polluted is because industries don't have outlets to let out their waste, and so they're letting it out into water bodies. Correct? So what is the problem here? Is it lack of water or the fact that industries need a different outlet to process their waste? Correct?
Yes, please.
Right? So when we look at a statement like this, we understand, okay, this is only surface level issue. What is the root cause of the problem? We can only come to that root cause when we ask why multiple times until we get to the root of that issue. And then that becomes our problem statement to tackle the issue of there's an outlet that is not there and that is missing, and we need to provide for an outlet to process waste better at industries. Okay. The same thing I would like you to do for the other statements, which will come up on the screen later in the session as well. Okay. Ask 5 whys so that you can come to the root cause of your problem. Don't take it at face value, because if you take it at face value, you won't be solving the right problem. You will beat around the bush. Okay. And to help you do that, okay, there are there are 3 pillars to defining a problem. Okay. You need to ask yourself who, what, and why, which is whose problem am I solving? Who is my user? Okay. What am I helping them with, or what are their needs? What problem am I solving? What needs am I meeting? Okay. So who is my user? What are their specific needs? And why am I doing this? Okay. You can't simply be doing something. You can't simply be solving a problem, right? You're definitely doing it because there is some value attached to it, or there is some benefit to the user. Am I right?
Can we do
Yes.
one more round of this?
We can do one. We'll take one more example. Don't worry, the session's full of examples. Maybe I'll take you through one more. Okay, Kanika, can we have the previous slide, please? We'll do one more, and then and then you'll get an idea of how to do this and apply it to all. Okay, which you can do after the session ends as well, just for your own practice.
We have to take from these only. I mean, I thought we can go with anything else as well.
Because I mean, I just have this as a standard for the sake of everyone. We can go ahead with this, but you have something else in mind, feel free to share.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the perspective on this plastic thing going on right everywhere. So like,
Yeah,
okay,
we
so
can
give me
go
a
ahead with any
specific
of
statement.
your problem statements. Not a problem.
Yes.
mhm.
Give me a specific statement like these here, no? So it will be better for all of us to understand.
Okay, fine. So I'll just type down and I will say it as well. So
No, just say it. Yes.
yeah, plastic packaging is
Okay.
major cause of solid waste.
Okay. Plastic packaging is a major cause of solid waste. Why?
So
I'm
because
asking you.
yeah, because majority of the products that we use in our daily lifestyle are packed in plastic.
Why?
Because plastic packaging is cheap and
There is no alternate.
no, there are.
Okay, why?
Yeah,
They're
but
not that cheap. People
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
it's not that cheap. It can come under the costing of the companies who can use it.
Hmm.
Okay.
True. Very true.
So if you keep asking why to the same to the same statement that you've presented, no, you'll come to a point where, because if this you're talking specifically about plastic packaging, you'll come to a point where you're going to question just the material and the features of it, and is there an alternative for plastic? Correct. So the issue is not that yes, plastic packaging is a major cause of solid waste, but why is it become a major cause is because there is no alternative found for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No.
So when you keep asking, why, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I was interrupted.
No. Please tell me. No.
So the only thing is that, see, here it's like a conclusion only, in between. Ki when it comes to cost, there's no alternative with that cost of packaging. So then, what will be the end solution you would think of? Because any other packaging you would go, or maybe you have to create a system where the packaging, overall packaging, comes down when it comes to cost, because plastic is again single use. Paper cycle is cheap, of course, you use and you throw it. But I mean, I am very much niche down to circular packaging. So there they just say that if calculate the costs of packaging for one whole year, then you will see steel packaging, if that is circular, then the overall yearly cost will come down. But then all that comes down again to this only, that single use, single time plastic is very cheap. Overall cost nobody sees, even though I bring it down to cost. So I was just brainstorming on that. Did I make sense? I mean, I wanted to get perspectives
No,
on
no, it
this.
certainly does. It certainly does make a lot of sense about what you say. And the thing is that with this, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So with this, right, we have another couple of questions that I would just like you to see. So when we talk about this, who, why, and what, right? When we talk about the user, the needs of the user, and why this is happening, why the user wants what he wants, we also want you to look at these 6 questions and understand if that makes some sense, right? I'll just share this with you. So who is facing the problems? This problem, who needs a solution, right? What needs to be addressed? Do you think this question makes a little sense, Preeti? What needs to be addressed? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. What
Yeah.
needs to be
So
addressed, as in the
with the
problem only
question,
needs to be addressed.
yes, exactly. So the use of plastic is what you are focusing at, isn't it?
So it's
Right?
very specific to product packaging, not only plastic. It's about product packaging waste. I just took plastic because that is very easy to understand, so it's like a free marketing thing. Plastic packaging, everybody understands why plastic is bad, even though we do not want to
Yeah.
get involved into that.
Right. What they are currently using is that still the single use plastic, right? What are the shortcomings? Why do they need a solution? As you correctly said, that plastic is, bad for us, bad for the environment. And what are the insights? So insights are something that you get after you answer all these questions. That will actually be the last question that, you would have to answer when you are done with all these above questions. That is when you can actually arrive on a problem statement, right? I hope this answered your question, Preeti.
Yeah, it did. I
All
have
right,
taken a
thank
shot
you
of
so
Thanks,
much.
this.
Kanika.
Yeah,
Thanks,
please, I was
Kanika.
going to say, yeah, no problem,
Yeah.
Lisha, no problem. So we are just done with these 6 questions.
6 questions.
And
Awesome.
yeah, so moving on, we
Okay.
would like to talk about how we have to identify users. So over to you, Lisha.
Yeah, thank you, Kanika. So since one important thing is, of course, we're coming to the root cause of the problem, and it's good that you're thinking about, certain certain issues that exist in your questioning. That's great, because that's how you're actually going to apply this. Now, another important thing in solving a problem is to identify the user, right? Because ultimately we spoke about empathy, and empathy cannot be put into practice until we identify our users. So this is very straightforward. Understand who is your target audience. Okay, what is their social profile, what is their gender, what is their education, what does their income look like, what is their location, because accordingly then you can mold and tweak your product depending on the characteristics of your user and what is it that your user actually requires. Okay, next. This is a little problem fact sheet which will help you put all of it together in one place. Okay, exactly like those 6 questions that you're answering, right? These are exactly that. You can make a quick note of this, because when coming up with your problem statement and identifying it, this will put everything in perspective and in one place. One is, whose problem are you solving, or who is facing the problem? Okay, what needs to be addressed? What is the issue that you're tackling? What are they currently using? So is there a, what is currently happening? Okay, what is the product that is currently being used? Okay, what are the disadvantages of that product? Okay, and why does it need a solution? If you answer these questions, it will automatically lead you to your insights and give you your solution. Yes, next. We'll put this into practice using a quick example. Okay, we won't get into like a lot of details, because I believe yesterday Deepal touched upon this. I remember Pallavi also asked was answering a few questions on the same lines of garbage segregation. So if we look at this picture, the problem is obvious, right? Since we discussed it yesterday, I'm just going to brush through this quickly. The problem is obvious. It's overflowing. The waste is overflowing. And let's understand, who is it causing an inconvenience to? It can be causing an inconvenience to multiple users. Okay, we can focus on any one depending on whose problem we are solving. That's why we have to be very specific about whose problem we're solving. We can either be solving the resident's problem, right? Who else's problem can we be solving?
So it's like civilians only, face the odor issues and
Okay, so travelers, passerbys, because they are inconvenienced with this. Okay, who else is facing this issue?
government again
You think
give government a very good deal that I'll manage your waste, like it happens in Indore. So many waste management companies will be like, "Hum kachra uthayenge aapka," and then they'll be like paid.
Okay.
It was once down the line fact, yeah.
Okay. Who else can we target? Do you think garbage collectors are enjoying this? If the waste is messed up and not segregated? No, right? They can be another set of user. Okay, so we look at the next. Slide, which will tell you how. Okay, if residents are the problem, for example, then residents become our users. Okay, if residents are our users, what are the needs of the residents? Maybe we'll have to provide them with 2 separate bins where garbage is segregated into wet and dry, so that the experience is better and easier for them. Okay, that can be one option. The other option could be if yeah, Kanika is just sharing her screen.
So this bin solution has been largely promoted by government, but it never worked. लोग घर में बाल्टी के जैसे use कर लेते हैं. Nobody uses it as a to segregate.
Correct. So that could be something that you could question. This could definitely be something that someone should question, because we've learned about challenging the obvious. If it is still a problem, that means nobody has identified the root cause of the problem, right? If it still continues to be an issue, nobody has really identified the root cause of this problem. The only point I'm trying to drive through this is that there can be multiple users for one single problem. It could be residents, it could be the municipality or the garbage collectors, it could be civilians, it could be somebody who maybe, like you said, like an MNC that would like to take on this project. So it could be also some sort of profit and advantage to them. So there are multiple users also depending on the problem, and depends entirely on whose problem are you solving. Okay, let's move ahead. I think Kanika is facing an issue with the sharing.
Yeah, give me a second, please.
Yes. Okay. We'll move ahead.
I have
So
a
far,
point
do you
on
have any
this.
questions? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
please.
when you say that, being specific whose problem you are solving. So there are businesses who are B2B, there are businesses who are B2C, and there are businesses who are both. So they do not,
Okay.
they are not specific on whose problem they are. I mean, they are specific, but it's like a mix. For example, these food delivery logistics apps like Swiggy, right? Swiggy, Zomato. These all people they deliver in single-use plastic containers. There are coming up the newbies. Basically, they will deliver you in steel dabba, and they will kind of charge you a fee, 10 rupees or 20 rupees. So it's like they are partnering with restaurants, and then through their website it goes to ordering, and then basically it's catering to end customers like you and me कि खाना मंगवाना है तो यहाँ से मांगो. So it's both B2B and B2C, दोनों का फायदा है. So
Correct.
Who do you think it's targeting specifically?
So see, it depends. Now here there are two people at work, right? So both of them are targeting a very different thing. Like if so, there are two simultaneous businesses, right? That's what you're saying. No, suppose somebody is just sending in their food and then Swiggy is just collecting it. Is that what you also shared?
Let's say that there is a company called Dabba Wala. अब डब्बा वाला जो है and there is a restaurant called पानीपत. तो डब्बा वाला basically does कि उसकी website है. Now I have to order food from Panipat. What I will do, I will place an order with डब्बा वाला via their website कि मेरे को पानीपत से एक मील चाहिए और वो डब्बा वाला में अपने डब्बे में डाल के मेरे को डिलीवर करेगा. सेम वे जैसे स्विगी करता है, बट उनका खुद का लॉजिस्टिक्स है सर्कुलर. So it's like that, and they will even collect back after few hours कि डब्बे हैं wash करके वापस करना है.
Okay. So like what is your question? Who is the user?
Who is the customer? Because they have to eventually convince to restaurants also कि यार हमारे डब्बे में बेचो. And also this is like end customer भी behavior change is so much required. बोलेंगे स्विगी से हमको मिल रहा है तो हम आपसे क्यों लें?
But so your idea is also I heard about this idea, and one of the companies also doing about this in Mumbai.
It's Zero Ware in Pune and Mumbai. Mumbai is not there, just Pune. And this is Infinity Box in Bangalore. These two are doing in India.
Yeah, I remember because I've seen some video about this content, and they are the one who's providing dabbas to the restaurants, and they get it delivered and get it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So so when I mean the user has to be specific, it need not be one user. Okay. So it's just that you have to define who are my users. In that sense, you've got to be specific about your user. So let's assume for this company, Dabbawala, he might have multiple users. They're not only providing food, but they may have multiple users actually approaching them for that product. Okay, but still they are going to, when they are coming up with this idea or whatever, they are specifying, okay, I'm going to cater to so and so. I'm going to cater to, let's say, kids. I'm going to cater to schools. I'm going to cater to offices. I'm going to cater to so and so. So it may seem like, okay, the user group is different, but you're still specifying, I'm going to cater to this person. Understood? So it's not like you're focusing on one user. It's just that you're being specific about who am I targeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I kind of understood what you're trying to say. But I was, anyway, it's like I went a lot deeper into the problem, so needs more time.
But as long as this statement makes sense to you, as long as the, as long as the perspective behind it makes sense to you,
Yeah,
right?
niching down
We need to
to
be specific
customers.
about to, yes, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll just move ahead. Yeah, because all of this helps in defining your problem. Like we said, if residents, the reason we're choosing the specific group, no, is because, let's say if it is residents problem we're solving, then the solution is different. Okay, because they don't know where to put wet and dry, so we're giving them segregated bins. Okay, yeah, Kanika, we can move faster with these examples. So let's say the user is somebody else now. Let's see on the next screen. Let's say the users are garbage collectors. Okay, if it is garbage collectors and their problem is, oh, the bins are overflowing. So can you use the same solution? You can't, right? You can't give them wet and dry waste because their problem only is different. Their problem is that the bins are overflowing. What should we do? So maybe for something like the bin, exactly, Preeti, you can have a smart dustbin that kind of tells you once it reaches a particular volume, what can we do about this? This needs to be emptied. Through some app system, it can get in touch with a garbage collector that will then go empty that bin. So the reason we're specifying or narrowing down on our users is because every user has a different problem. Certain sets of users have different problems. And once we identify whose problem we're solving, we can have a specific solution. Does that make sense? Yes? Is this too overwhelming or confusing? Girls? Have you fainted with all this information? Okay, good. So these, I'm sure you have your own statements, but the ones that we discussed can be things you can think about for practice to come to the root cause. Okay. And now I'm going to give you 3 key points, okay, or 3 filters that you need to keep in mind as an entrepreneur when you're solving a problem. Remember, I gave you a very random, weird example yesterday about having a chalkboard that can use acrylic paint, but it will only last for 10 seconds. Do you remember?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. What is the problem with that idea of mine? Is that it was not solving anybody's problem, right? And it did not have any long-term use. Was it a major issue that needed a solution? And the solution was my chalkboard? Not really, right? So we need to think about 3 filters when we solve a problem, because we want to make long-term impact. We don't just want to provide temporary solutions. So for whatever problem you're planning on solving, think about how critical is this problem? How bad is this issue? Which is why I'm coming up with a solution. So how bad is the issue? Okay. Now, how widespread is that issue? Yeah, Kanika, previous slide. How critical, how widespread is the problem, and how long will they keep the solution? Because you don't want your thing to be short-lived. You want it to have long-term benefit and long-term impact. So think about, whose problem am I solving on a larger scale, and they should want my product and keep coming back in the long run. So these are 3 things to keep in mind: how critical, how widespread is the problem, and how long will they keep using your solution. So most important thing and a key takeaway is, let's identify the problem first. So in the ideas that you already have, right, go back, practice the 5 whys, come to the root cause and identify the problem. Now we've come to the last 2 parts of our session, and we're going to quickly wrap up with this as well. It's very practical, and I hope you enjoy this as well, okay? Because this is going to tell you about ideation. This is going to tell you about innovation, how to think of innovative ideas. Maybe you have an idea, but you feel like it's not innovative enough, okay? So I'm going to tell you certain techniques of ideation, all right? We'll see these in the upcoming slides. The next slide. Okay, before we get to the pictures and the stories I'm going to tell you, understand that ideation seems like a very big word, okay? But ideation is not about coming up with a unique idea to solve a user's problem. It doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be something that nobody has ever discovered. It can simply be coming up with multiple pointers that can potentially provide a solution. Okay, it's a process. Ideation is a process, where you're coming up with multiple options, multiple solutions, and you're trying to test out these solutions. It's not one brilliant, unique idea. It's multiple pointers that you can build on to see the potential that it has to be a solution. Yeah. Next. So I'm going to start off with a lovely story on a little experiment, and the picture you will see in the next slide. How many of you have heard of this, candle problem? Have you heard of this candle problem?
No.
Any of you have heard of the term functional fixedness?
No.
Okay, awesome. That's great, because then you get to learn something new today. Okay, there is something called functional fixedness. Sounds like a very big word, but I will break it down for you. Before that, I will give you a little activity. It's an experiment. Okay, you just have to answer and solve the problem. Now I have this question for you. Okay, you have to tell me how you're going to do it. I want you to fix the candle on the wall in such a way that when you light it, the wax does not drip onto the floor. Simple. Fix the candle onto the wall in a manner that once you light it, the wax does not drip on the floor. I'll also give you two other things, which is a matchstick box, of course, and I'll give you a box of tacks or pins. Do you know the ones that they put on notice boards? Okay, so you have matchsticks, you have a candle, and you have a box of tacks. Now, how are you going to fix the candle on the wall without getting the wax to drip on the floor? Come on, quickly.
You can add a lot of sticks together so that it won't drip it.
Okay, what sticks? The matchsticks? How?
Not the stick, the pins
So where will you add the pins?
in the wall.
How? Think. What will you do? How will you fix the candle on the wall?
Ma'am,
Yeah,
it
how will
could
you
be
do
a
it?
candle. It could be a candle in a jar.
But there is no jar. You have certain things. What can you do?
We have matchstick and we have
Tacks, a box of tacks or pins.
so pins is like something we can attach in a wall, right? Something like that. The pin is
Okay.
so we can attach in the wall, closed in a closed way, so that we can put candle on that, and the wax won't come down.
Okay. Anything else? I like that you're thinking. So mostly you will notice as you're all thinking, right? How many of you considered that you can empty the box of matchsticks? Okay. Pin the matchstick box to the wall, place the candle inside the box. How many of you thought of that solution? Silence means no.
No, we didn't think.
Yeah. Okay. That's absolutely fine. But that tells us that, okay, that's great, Farisha ma'am. Farisha ma'am thought about it. That's brilliant. So the reason most of us in this group didn't think about it is because we believe that certain objects have only certain functions. Okay. That the function of certain things is fixed. That's why it's called functional fixedness. And that it can't be used for anything else. And that creates a block in our mind. But the moment we realize that some object can have multiple purposes or multiple uses, we begin thinking out of the box, and it helps us in the process of ideation. Just like I told you about the shoe and the pencil, how can we draw inspiration from these two and come up with something? Or if I only have a pen and I don't have a clip and I need to tie my hair. And if I only think of the pen as it's only used to write, right? I will still be left with my hair not without a clip. But instead, if I say that, oh, I can use this like the Japanese and tie my hair, it can also serve me as a it can also serve as a clip, right? That is breaking functional fixedness. I'm not only looking at this pen in terms of writing, but okay, that the same object can have multiple uses. So one ideation technique is to overcome functional fixedness. Don't only look at objects as having fixed functions. Think about the different ways that you can use an object. Okay, this is something that you'll have to mentally overcome because we're naturally hardwired to look at things in just one way. So break that and look at things as having multiple functions. How else can I use this? How else can I use this? That's how you can be creative. Okay, awesome. I love that you liked that, Preeti. Let's look at the next ideation technique, which is something we all know about. It's called brainstorming. Brainstorming is not about getting the right answer at the first time. Okay, it's about exploring, and it's a very important technique of ideation. Some of the ways you can do it is set a time limit. Don't just have a random discussion. Okay, have a focused discussion about the topic. Set a time limit, have a focused discussion about the topic. Incorporate the ideas and thoughts of everyone. Don't cut anyone out because you never know what they'd have to share, right? And always be open to listening without passing any judgment. They may actually say something weird or out of the box, but welcome things that are weird and wacky and wild. Okay, have one conversation at a time so that everybody feels heard. So if you're working in a team, especially, this is a very important technique. Because did you see how many solutions and suggestions we came up with in this session itself? That's because different people have different perspectives, and when all these perspectives come together, it gives us clarity. Okay, so be visual. Even as people share, imagine these things and aim for quantity. In terms of aim for a lot of ideas that you can kind of bring together and draw toward a solution. Yes, next. This is again the problem fact sheet. Okay, this we've already covered, but this is a good little template for you to come up with your problem statement. Another thing, and with this we're going to we're slowly also coming to an end of our session. We just have the last segment left. Does one problem have one solution? This is a question I want to ask you now. Since you will be solving problems, do you think one problem has one solution?
No, we can have multiple solutions.
Exactly. And we saw that in the garbage example itself, right? One problem can have multiple solutions. Again, it depends even on the user. So let's look at a few examples, only because these examples will give you visuals and it will help you. Okay, let's say my problem is I want clean water. Okay, let's do this example. I want clean water. Give me a solution. What to do?
RO water.
Okay, RO water, great. What else?
Cleaning the water also is doing.
Okay, how will I clean the water?
Different products, steel filters, and then there is like so many products right in the market, so you can sell the same problem.
Okay, what else? Any other solution? What if I'm traveling? I want clean water. Okay, great. Mineral water, order the water, boil the water. Okay, awesome. What else? Anything else? Okay, awesome. You've given me so many solutions. I just said I had one problem. I want clean water. But you yourself came up with multiple solutions for one problem. Okay, on the screen also you will see these multiple solution options. Suppose it's a rural area and they have to go and draw water from the well and store it. And they're saying, I want clean water. Can they use an RO? No, right? They may have to use a pack of alum or some water purifying agent to purify that stored water. But if they have running water, then they can still have an RO or they can have a purifier. What if they want clean water, but they're traveling, right? Can they go to the well? Can they use their RO? They can't. They'll need clean packaged mineral drinking water to be used. So these are different solutions that can be provided to the same problem. It will depend on a lot of factors and who your user is, what is their background and their situation that they're in. Okay, next we'll see also how there are different options for garbage bins. Okay, so can we build multiple ideas? Definitely, and you've already known that. We have multiple options just for garbage bins, okay, depending on the need of the user. Different shapes, sizes, colors for different type of garbage, for metals, for biodegradables, non-biodegradables, maybe electronic waste. When the bins are full, how can you have volumetric sensors, right? These are multiple solutions. Yeah, next. Another important thing besides coming up with multiple ideas and knowing that one problem has multiple solutions, in your journey of ideation, build prototypes. It's very important to build small working models that are not expensive, that can just be simple craft, okay, to help you or give you an idea of what the product looks like. That's a prototype. It's just a smaller version of what your product looks like. It can be made of cheaper materials, okay. I'll give you a couple of examples of prototypes. You'll see them on the slide. Okay, this is a prototype of a mouse. Okay, an early simple model of what this looks like. And what prototypes help you with is they understand, because it's a mini working model. You know, how can I improve on this then? How can I change this? What can I improvise? It will help you with your process of ideation, building smaller prototypes. Yes, next. Now, these are certain features of what a prototype should be. It should be rapid in terms of I should be able to build it very quickly. You don't need to spend a lot of time, energy, or money on your prototype. It should be something simple to construct, simple to deconstruct, like simple craft. Okay. You should be able to experience, touch it, understand how it works in a little mechanical manner. It should also be exciting, but it should also be open to change in some way or another. And if you get feedback, how can you incorporate that feedback, make changes in the prototypes? So it has to be a simple working model that you can construct and deconstruct. Next. Next. Okay, here are examples of some sample prototypes, okay, that you can see. Prototypes of mobile apps, prototypes of automation apps, of a prototype of even a sensor based prosthetic hand. It's very simple, right? Doesn't even cost much, but it gives you an idea and also your user an idea of what this is going to look like. How can we tweak and change this? Simple to do, but it will help you because it creates a visual for you and an understanding of how can my product work. Okay, awesome. Next. This brings us to another important point, which is seek user feedback. The point of building a prototype is so that you can take this prototype, go to your user, understand how it works, and they'll give you feedback, and then you can make changes to that. Instead of just going ahead, building your product, investing so much of money, and realizing it doesn't work at all, right? So seek user feedback, understand what works, what can be improved. Okay, note down their questions, your ideas, your thoughts, because it's all about co-creation. Remember, we spoke about that yesterday. Work along with your user. That will save your time, your energy, and your resources, and will also keep you from failure because you're always going to be succeeding even when you make mistakes. Okay, next. And we come to the last part of our session, which is what will I? Okay, finally, what will I do? What will I focus on? What is the final part of my idea? Next. The final and the most important thing that I want to leave you with is to focus on the benefits and the features of your product. Okay, it needs to have both. But what is more important than benefits and features, according to you? What is more important among the two? Benefits or features? Yes. What is more important? Okay, Preeti says both. But always remember that your customers or your consumers will buy your product not only because of your features, but mainly because of the benefits they get from your product. Okay. Like, for example, all of us use Fair and Lovely, which all of us don't use it. All of us know of Fair and Lovely, which is now Glow and Lovely. Correct? What are the features of that Fair and Lovely? Yeah, the features may be things like it provides us with vitamin B, vitamin E. I read that somewhere, right? That they now use that. It can be a base cream. It provides us with multivitamins. I mean, in the cream, it is not oily, right? It can be used, and it's not doesn't have an oily texture. These are features. What are the benefits of that cream? What do they market? That you're going to be beautiful, that you're going to be confident, that it's going to improve your skin health, right? So am I really buying Glow and Lovely or Fair and Lovely because of the multivitamins in it? Or am I buying it because, wow, this cream is going to give me another level of confidence. It's going to make me look beautiful. Why are we buying it? Yes. Are we buying it because it has multiple vitamins or multivitamins, or are we buying it because it's going to give us that sense of confidence and beauty, right? And it was marketed also as Fair and Lovely because the Indian skin tone's darker and everybody wants to be fair. If you tell anyone who has a dusky skin that this cream makes you fair, at least earlier, now of course there's a lot of awareness and everyone's embracing who they really are and they're celebrating that. But earlier, darker skin tone had stigma attached to it, right? So people purchase this cream not necessarily for just the features, but the benefits that they got from it. Just like that, let's look at another product. Okay, let's look at a mattress. Let's say one mattress is made of sag wood. Okay, it's durable. It's 6.5 feet long, high tension spring, and all of that. Another one is it gives me sound sleep. It is durable and adjusts to my body. I will obviously buy the second one because of the benefits that it's offering me. Similarly, in the product that you design or you come up with, right? Make sure that the benefits solve people's problem, that the user actually has benefits from your product, and that it's a long-term benefit and not short-lived. Okay, next. And remember that users buy benefits, they don't buy features. So focus on your features, of course, but focus on your benefits much more. Okay, next. These are just key pointers and key takeaways. What problem are we solving? Be specific. Who is my user? What is the need gap? What is the need? What, who's to whom am I providing the solution? What is my solution? What are the benefits of my solution? And why would we love to solve the problem? Or why are we doing this? That is the most important question. Why are we solving this problem? Are we doing it for fame? Are we just doing it because we have nothing else to do in life? Why are we really solving this problem is very important. Next. And I'm going to end on this note. I'm going to talk to you about the power of why. Okay, of course it's important to know what. It's important to know what my product is, who my user is, what am I offering. That's great. Okay, but understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing is going to sustain you in the longer run. Your why is nothing but your vision. Okay, it is your belief and it is your sense of purpose. Why am I doing this? Okay, Simon Sinek talks about it. Can you see the circles on the screen? That's called the golden circle. Okay, and what he says is most organizations, they know what they're doing, they know what their product is, they know what their service is, they know what they're selling. Okay, among most of these organizations, there will be few of them who will know how they're doing it. What are their strategies? How are they going about it? What do they have to offer more than others? They understand that. But there are very few select organizations that truly do well, and they know why they're doing what they're doing. So they're not simply out there to make money, but they have a vision for why they're doing what they're doing. Okay, they understand the purpose behind why they started off. They understand not only whose problem they are solving, but why are we solving this problem? What is the long-term benefit of this? and what is the belief we hold because of which we're solving this problem. Okay. um, Understanding your why and understanding the power of why is very important. So even as you embark on this journey of ideation, ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the purpose behind this? How can I, kind of anchor myself in a place of purpose? Because then you will keep going. Most organizations fail because they know what they're doing, but they don't have vision, right? So they don't know what they're aiming for, they don't know what they're striving for. But the moment you have your what and how and your why in place, most importantly, there will be no stopping you. And that's what I want to leave you with on this ideation journey. Even as you go ahead, make sure you have
Yeah,
an awareness of your why.
sorry.
Yes.
Lisha, can I
Yes.
please request Sushil to say a few words on this golden circle as well, please?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. So I think Lisha explained it very well, and I'm just going to take 2 minutes. In life, I mean, obviously, all of you will have right career, right things that you will do, and all of you will prosper. But that will really depend on what you do. You'll become, say, lawyers or guitarists or artists or any career that they choose. Many of you will also, spend a lot of time in how you do stuff. But what is important is whatever you do, there's a why behind it. So if you want to become a doctor, why that profession has been chosen, or if you want to become even an artist, why you want to become that artist, but there's be some sense of purpose. And if anything that you drive with a sense of purpose, beyond the point how you do that and what you do that gets driven by why do you do that, and that's what is something which is very, very important. Organizations which are building themselves over a period of time have started focusing on why they do what they do, and people always buy on that why, not on how good your product is or how you manufacture it, but why and what problem you're trying to solve and how you're doing it. And just to give you a simple example of ourselves, we in last about 5 years we nurture entrepreneur mindset among school children and college going students in the age group of about 13 to 20, 23. So that's about our why, because we strongly believe that entrepreneurship spirit needs to be awakened at younger age. How you do that or what you do that is not important. People always connect with you on your why. So always keep that focus on why. And that's, and you can read more about this on Simon Sinek videos. I'm pretty impressed with this person, and I just wanted to talk about this thought. So that brings us to the end of ideation session. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take that. You can stop the screen share, Kanika.
Yeah, Priyadarshini has a question on co-creation.
Yes, I just wanted to know, as you said, for a co-creation, we can have a prototype and we can take it to the customer. So when you say a customer, which group could that address? I mean, because we are startups, we won't have a base customer with us. So who could we target as our customers for testing the product?
Wonderful question, Priyadarshini. It's always important to understand whom for whom you are building this product. So there would be a user group or a target group in your mind. Let's say you are making a soap. Now soap has various dimensions. I mean, everybody uses soap, right from a baby who is 1 month old to 80-year-old grandparent. Everybody uses soap. But your soap should have a specialty. I mean, if you are building a soap for girls or versus men versus women, a girl versus woman, a kid versus girl, all these things. So you have to be very clear what your product, whom you are building for. And once you understand that user, you have to keep going back to him or her in terms of what that product is, or what do they expect from this, what are the problems that you're trying to solve, how they want to purchase that,
Hello.
where would you purchase that, all that stuff. Am I audible, Priyadarshini?
So I'm not able to hear.
Hello, am I audible to others?
Yeah,
Yeah,
audible,
you're
Sushil.
audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So maybe I think it's a problem with Priyadarshini is audio, but this is something which is very important. And every time you create a product or create any solution, the most important part is to keep that user in mind. The user will become customer only when user feels importance of your solution, and the user will take out money from his or her pocket and give it to you because they value that product. And once they give that money to you or that value to you, then it becomes a transaction, and in that case he or she becomes a customer. Till that time, if the user is not satisfied, nobody will pay you in this world, or nobody will take a solution just because they're your relatives and parents and all might take it. But
I have a small question.
This is exactly, sir, I wanted to know, like the customer base, which we don't have at present.
correct.
Because
So therefore,
so,
don't go for
whom should
customers.
we take
Go,
it? The
go to
physical
the user.
customer, or I mean,
What is the product that you are building? Go to the user of the product. Who is the user?
suppose if I'm building, as you said, a soap, it
Correct.
could be anyone, but I'm
Correct.
targeting ladies, I mean the
Correct.
females for this.
Correct.
So if I'm building a product for females,
Correct.
and like I mean to say, should I take that product to the person whom I know already? I mean, a
No.
friend or a relative or whatever.
No, try
That's my
and
question.
go to people who will give you unbiased feedback. Typically, if you go
Okay.
to friends and relatives and all, they'll always say, "Arey, bahut acha kar rahe ho, karo, karo." You know, they'll be biased towards you. Try
Okay.
and go, let's say if you have friends, don't go to friends, but try and go to friends who do not know you. And they can be as blunt as your product is bullshit, your soap is useless. They can see
Okay.
that. And once
Okay.
you get that feedback, then you can ask them that why do you think it is bullshit? What is that I need to add into this? How I can make it more useful for you? Will you buy this? Why will you buy this? At what price will you buy this? All that
Okay.
unbiased information that you'll get.
Okay.
Generally, between surveys and talking direct to the customer, at the initial stage, I would always tell you to go and talk to customers directly rather than taking surveys. Typically, I
Okay.
see forms floating on WhatsApp. You know, ask them 10 questions and circulate among all the woman groups. Ki is pe 4 points pe bhar ke de do. But that's a
Yes.
complete, tangential feedback that you get. Have interactions with them, because even the body language you'll understand. Saying
Okay.
that no, it is bullshit, or saying, oh, it's absolutely bullshit. There is a great difference between these two sentences as well.
Okay.
So you need to capture that, whether customer is relatively happy, unhappy, extremely unhappy, all that stuff. And that you
Okay.
can do only when you meet them
I
personally.
have a small question.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
Pallavi.
Thank you so much.
So I just want to know, since some brands, for example, any handbag brands or jewelry brands, uh, are, for example, Zook. Do you think Zook or Lavi, these are the brands are solving some issues? Like these are the bag brands, and I want to know about the details. You told me there is a problem, then we can come up with a solution, then we can come up with the brainstorming and everything. These other parts also. So how do you think the brands like these work?
Absolutely, at every level, people solve the solution. So, for example, let me take an example of a car. You have a Nano on one side, and you have Rolls Royce on one side. Now, Nano is solving a different problem. Rolls Royce is solving a different problem. Nano is solving a problem for people who cannot afford cars. They are still driving bike, but they find it extremely convenient to drive. Take a family of 4 on a bike. So therefore, Nano is giving them a most cheapest possible, Nano or Alto for that matter, the cheapest small car, solves that kind of a problem of getting a car at 2.5, 3 lakh rupees kind of a thing. Rolls-Royce solves a problem, and it's a upend topmost mode. Now Rolls-Royce solves a problem of building that kind of satisfying your ego that I can own a biggest car. So it gives you a luxury, it gives you comfort, it gives you safety. All those things are not available in Nano. Rolls-Royce you can drive at 300 speed, but no, Nano you can't. Rolls-Royce will give you that status symbol in the society, which Nano will not. So every product gives a benefit to the user whom he or he is targeting.
Do you think
Nano,
fashion brands always come with the solution? Some or the other types of solution at the
that's
end.
right. That's right. So listen, always one thing, keep that in mind. If the product or a service is not solving the problem, when I say problem, if it doesn't give a benefit to the user, or it doesn't solve the pain points of the user, then nobody will buy this product.
Okay.
It has to solve some problem. I mean, I can buy an Apple product, versus I can buy a roadside computer or a roadside mobile phone, or I can buy iPhone. Both of them are solving different problems. iPhone gives me a status symbol. A normal phone is a functional phone. It gives me normal this thing, but it will never give me a status symbol which Apple will give. And same is true with fashion products.
Okay.
I hope that answers your point.
Yeah, somehow. Thank you.
So do we have any more questions? Any other questions, participants?
So yeah.
I have one more question to ask. So how do you think the B2C and B2B works for these this segregations? So do you think there's a major difference in the B2B and B2C segregations, or there is the process is same, or just or the process is different for B2B and B2C, since we are targeting the direct customers also?
Both the processes are different because B2B is business to business and B2C is business directly to the retail customer.
Right.
When you are I mean, at the end of the day, you are making a solution and convincing someone. Now, when you are doing it for the retail customer, it's an individual. So each individual has to see the value of the product, right? When you are selling your B2B, which is to a business, to another person, you are basically talking to an organization. And organization decision makers are different. Now, organization is bunch of people. So there the individuality is lost. They will actually look at the benefit of organization, right?
Right.
So if I'm selling a car to a company, HR of the company, versus I'm selling a car to an individual, both these things are different. In case of individual, you have to look at independent customers. So if I have to, as taking example, if I have to sell, let's say, a car or let's say Maruti car, if I'm talking to 1,000 customers, I have to look at group of customers who I'm going to target. But when it comes to an organization, the decision making is totally different. The distribution is totally different. How they will take a decision will totally be different. So these are the things you have to always keep in mind. If you're looking at a fashion brand, just simple example. Typically, all the corporates buy some things to be given to employees on Diwali. Okay, let's say handmade stuff and all. Now I am a HR manager, or let's say you are a HR manager. Now, at that time, when you are an HR manager who is taking the decision, you will take the decision that you will take will be different than as an individual. If you want to buy, you will take a different decision. Your personal bias may be for a handicraft, and also you will go in the market and find out a handicraft. But when you sit as a HR manager, you'll always look at what my employees will like. Will they really like handicraft, or will they like a normal a fashion kind of a thing? And therefore, let me give that. So these are two different things.
Since there's a lot of competition in the market, I deal in handcrafted bags, hand embroidered bags, and a lot of artisans bags made by slum women. So there's a lot of competition. So how do you think these slight variation in the designs or slight variation in the input of the product will change the customer thinking? For example, there's a lot of high-end brands, like Zook is the new brand which is like blowing the market of these fashion brands. So other is this Lavi, Caprese. There's a lot of brands with high design. These are the other sectors. So how do you think the parameters which we have discussed in this meeting will work, and we can come up with something like people will trust on this path if we come up with something?
See, I think extremely important question. I mean, how do you stand in front of a stack of a competition? I mean, in a fashion, you have Hajar brands, you have organized brands, you have unorganized brands, you have boutiques. So in that case, how do you make your own customer satisfied? So in this thing, I think 2-3 things you have to really take care of. Number one is you should have a unique selling proposition, what we call as a USP.
Right.
That why do you think people will buy your product vis-a-vis other products? And they have a range from high design to a normal local beauty kind of a thing. So why would they come to you and buy that? So that's one thing which you have to identify. The second thing, especially in the fashion brand, which I've seen, and wherever I talk and give a mentorship to fashion brand, I always tell them that look at the why part. Why would people, what is the purpose? For example, as you rightly said, you get a lot of stuff done from the slum woman and all. Now
Right.
that's a social fabric that you're touching, right? Now, if
Right.
you somehow build in your communication that you
Mhm.
buy my product, because every single product that you buy will actually give financial independence to the woman who is staying in the slum. Now, you are not only selling the product, but you are selling that emotion to the end customer.
Right.
And in that sense, they will be able to buy that kind of product, because they not only they want to buy this thing, they also want to help the woman at the grassroots level, provided your product and the product which is available in the market are at the same
Level.
level or the same kind of a quality kind of a thing.
Right.
So these are the emotional connects that you need to identify. One of our 11th grade student, they build uh, uh, tire waste, they build shoes, apparels. Okay, and they won actually a award in United States in one of the most outstanding innovative ideas kind of a thing. But making apparel is everybody makes it. They made it from tire waste, but they employ acid attack survivors, and all those acid attack survivors ultimately work and build that. So that they made a proposition that our products, I mean, all our employees are coming from this kind of a community, and they get employment a lot. So that becomes their selling point. So one is this kind of a group. Second is, what is the kind of material that you're using? Is it eco-friendly? Is it environment friendly? So that you can build as a proposition. The third is the quality itself is what you can build as a proposition. The fourth is, how do you create your positioning of a brand? That is a proposition. So to really work and create that kind of a uniqueness which people will connect to.
Sure. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As I said, at the beginning, this is just a ignition kind of a thing. Gaadi ko jo starter dete na, it's probably only that. But if it has really helped you to really ignite your mind that something can be done, I think this is the right platform provided by Asper for her to try something. Whether you win, whether you lose, I think that's immaterial, because this is not end of life. Ki aapne nahi jeeta, so you won't get anything. So don't worry about winning and losing. Walk on this path. Look at your own power and do this more for your satisfaction than satisfying someone else. In this process, if you do something, you fail, you again redo, you'll be able to rediscover your own strengths. And I think that is something which is very important for us. Winning this prize and all, by all means, we wish you all the best to win those prizes. But winning the end goal in the life is something far more important. And I think that is something which you want to ignite through this program. So we're very glad that you got connected to this. Take a part in this, and hopefully we'll see some of you in a final workshop which you're going to conduct in the last week of August.
Sure.
Thank you, Sushil sir,
Thank you.
for being with us and answering all the questions and for your advice. And thank you, Lisha, Kanika, for this wonderful session. Thank you all
Thank you
for
so much,
joining us
Manisha.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
Sushil, for very
Thank you so much.
insightful
Thank
words.
you.
Thank you.
And tomorrow we will have Navya with us. I have posted the link in the chat box at 11 a.m. Please join us. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.